we have some news to talk about, Alex, and I'm excited for you to weigh in here as a member of the Angels organization for a decade.
Yeah.
Which is wild to say.
I know.
A decade. But we've talked a good bit about what direction this organization is going in, and that starts with Arte Moreno saying he's selling the team and the search for new ownership and what that meant for Shohei Ohtani's future and what the new owner would bring to the table. Well, as we're recording this on Tuesday, literally Monday, I think it was.
Yep, yesterday.
Arte Moreno announces that he is no longer selling the team and the ownership will continue through 2023 and beyond. I'm going to let you go first here.
The Angels are still in a very interesting situation right now because there was a lot of mixed feelings from fans, broadcast team, players around the league, of a feeling of Arte selling the team. All right. Personally, I am a huge Arte Moreno fan. He is such a people person. He is out there. He loves the game of baseball. He loves his fans. He loves this Angels organization. However, something needs to change. They cannot keep doing the same thing that they have done, especially just over the last 11 years of the Trout era, who has been to one playoff series and got swept. You have Shohei Ohtani. The last 5 years, obviously, they haven't made it to the postseason. You have two of the best players in baseball. It is unacceptable to not be in at least contention towards the end of the season, the last month at least, fighting for a playoff spot. Something needs to change. I don't know what it is. I took a poll with Angel fans last night because
I saw this. Bloodbath.
Good chunk of my following are Angels fans. And I asked Angels fans, how are we feeling about this? And the two questions were, we're happy and hopeful, or we're frustrated. 84% came back frustrated. This is, I think, 7,000 votes came in for this. 16% were happy and hopeful. It's tough. I'm happy for my former colleagues, my broadcast partners, because, you know, there's always fear with new ownership. So I know everyone there is happy. I know, I don't know how the players feel about this. I'd be curious to get like an inside just from like a Trout or an Ohtani. And then my biggest question is, does Arte maintaining ownership of the team hurt or help Ohtani's chances to sign long-term with the Angels? That's the biggest question.
Let me tell you why I think so many people, the 84%, voted frustrated. It's because the status quo over the last decade with the greatest player on the planet,
Mike Trout,
the status quo is unacceptable.
Yeah.
The way this organization has been going since Mike Trout became an Angel is unacceptable.
Yeah.
And you have the greatest player in baseball and one of the all-time greats.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have one of the greatest talents we have ever seen and also one of the greatest players ever, and Shohei Ohtani, work out better than you could have ever imagined. And you have him and you pair him with Mike Trout. And to not win with this team is unacceptable.
Yeah.
And what has shown us that the status quo is going to change as long as Arte Moreno is owning this team? Nothing. Why should we believe something is going to change just because he's decided not to sell? What is going to change? We need answers. And obviously he owns the team, and we're not going to get those answers unless it's by showing us. But he's not going to go in front of the public and speak. He's not going to do it.
He's also not a big public speaker. Like he just doesn't do that often. He will when a player signs with a team. That's kind of all you're going to get. But
so answers are needed then, and the answers are going to be gotten.
Is it more of a hands-off approach? Again, we're not in the front office. We don't know how hands-on he is, but I know he had a hand in some of those pretty big failure signings of the past. I wouldn't say failure, but didn't pan out the way they thought they would. A lot of money to guys who, weren't at the peak of their career. But the number one thing this season, and every season with the Angels, is can they stay healthy? If Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon can both stay healthy, then you have Shohei Ohtani. They just bolstered their starting rotation, and their pitching staff it's good. When you look top to bottom, it's not great.
Better.
It's better. They need some more key pieces. That would be great. That's always been their weakness, too. You have Shohei Ohtani, who was leading the team in every single stat last season at one point for pitching and hitting, which is insane. So this team.
I'm just tired of this team with two of the greatest players of all time, us having to say before the year starts, if this team can stay fully healthy, they could be good.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the team being in that position. You know what we're not saying about the Houston Astros? Well, if they can stay fully healthy, they'll be great. No, they will be great. Guess what? They lost Michael Brantley last year and won the World Series.
Yep.
Like, why are the Angels always, well, if they can stay healthy, they might be good? Put the team in a position to win around Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. Whereas if you lose one piece, it's not the end of the world and the whole season's over. The team needs to be better. The rotation needs to be better. The offense has gotten better, but you gotta change the status quo that has been in existence for a long time there with the Angels. And I'm frustrated and fired up about this because as a fan of the game of baseball, Mike Trout deserves better than playing in 3 playoff games in his career.
And getting swept.
And Shohei Ohtani deserves better than never having played in the playoffs.
Yep.
So the status quo that we've learned from Arte Moreno and the front office of the Angels is what needs to change. And it's become frustrating seeing it. So I'm tired of what we've seen. You need to show change. And if you don't, guess what? And this is our next conversation we can have, is Shohei's going to be out the door. But the status quo has needed to change. And to me, Arte Moreno has been almost scared of the luxury tax. It's like, okay, I'll spend big money on getting players in. Oh, whoa. We're at where I'm going to have to pay extra. Nope, this is our team. We're sticking with it. Go play. What? Who cares? You're a billionaire. We see what Steve Cohen is doing. Like, it just has seemed like Arte Moreno has used that luxury tax as an excuse to stop the team where they are and say, go play. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that changes. And I hope the Angels become very competitive this year.
I think they have the first half of the season to prove to Shohei Ohtani that we're willing to do whatever it takes to keep you here and build a winning team around you. Because if he becomes a free agent, what are the odds you're going to be able to outbid all these other teams? If you know you're not going to be able to keep them, is there a trade opportunity there where you completely rebuild your franchise and everything that you can get from Shohei Ohtani? There's so many question marks and just possibilities that could happen. But those first 3 months are going to be so crucial for the Angels.
One thing we do know is, yes, the pre-trade deadline is make or break for this team.
Yeah.
And you got to win. Or else the talent that is Shohei.
He deserves to win.
Which, might I add, if Shohei goes, a big chunk of the fan base goes. A big chunk of the fans that show up only to watch Shohei pitch goes. This is more than the player on the field that we know as Shohei. There's a lot to this.
You're losing an entire country fan base and majority of your sponsors. If you look all around Angel Stadium,
is everywhere.
It's all Japanese sponsorships because he is their biggest, what would you say, like selling product of the team?
Yeah.
Everything about him and the fans that he brings with him.
Yep.
He is a brand. He brings it's insane to think about. Like, wherever he ends up. And again, I hope it's the best and the Angels can figure it out and they make it work. But wherever he goes, whatever team is willing to pay this man whatever he wants, and I think he might be that first $500 million athlete, you're not only getting Shohei Ohtani, you are getting an entire country worth of fans who are going to buy all of his merchandise, anything that says Ohtani on it, and you're going to get all the sponsorships that come along with it.
Yeah. Speaking of insane and how much he is worth, it is insane how much Shohei Ohtani is going to get paid. How much do you pay a guy that is an all-star pitcher, an all-star hitter, one of the greatest talents that we have ever seen, puts butts in seats that would never go to a baseball game, gets eyeballs on the game of baseball and on your team that have never been interested in the game of baseball, brings an entire nation along with him to root for him and to watch him, and makes your team exponentially better, and is an MVP player and is the epitome of an MVP player. What do you pay that player?
Just roll up that Brinks truck and give him whatever he wants.
It's $500 million.
But it is. It's $500 million.
Plus.
Yeah.
And there are teams that are willing to do that.
And it's worth it. You're going to get that back, as we just mentioned, with the entire country and fan base that he brings along with him, the sponsorships that come with him. It is an insanely smart investment. The return on this investment, besides the product you're getting on the field, is mind-blowing. Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani will be the first $500 million player in Major League Baseball history.
Yeah.
No doubt about that, in my opinion. And there are teams that are going to be willing to do it. So one important thing here is you mentioned how important the first 3 months of for the Angels.
Yeah.
And people are saying, well, you know what Arte Moreno could do to make this all great right now and make a big splash is extend Shohei. If I'm Shohei,
no,
I ain't signing that.
No.
Prove to me we're going to win.
Yep.
And anyway, even if I don't sign it, if I hit free agency, I'm going to make more money than anybody has ever made on a baseball field.
Yeah.
And it's going to be insane. But a lot going on with the Angels. One, the ownership, but two, the reason the ownership is so important is because there's never been more of a time to get it right.
Yeah.
And the time is literally right now.
Right now.
Like, you don't have a year. Last year we were talking about this, and it's like you have a year and a half to get it right with Shohei.
No.
Now you have a half a season.
You have 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months of the regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. If you love Flippin Bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.